Most people think surrender means giving up, like waving a white flag and admitting defeat, like deciding that you are too weak to keep fighting so you just stop trying. But that is not what surrender to God looks like at all. Biblical surrender is not weakness. It is the most courageous and powerful decision a human being can make. It is the moment you stop trusting your own limited understanding and place everything, your plans, your future, your fears, your dreams, into the hands of the one who created you and knows exactly what you need. Today, I want to walk you through 6 things that actually happen when you fully surrender to God, not partially, not conditionally, fully. By the end of this message, you will understand why surrender is not the end of your story. It is where your real story begins. Number 1. Peace replaces anxiety. One of the first and most immediate things that happens when you fully surrender to God is that peace begins to replace the anxiety you have been carrying. Philippians 4:7 says the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Notice it says surpasses understanding. That means this peace does not make logical sense. Your circumstances have not changed. The problem is still there. The uncertainty is still present. But when you surrender control to God, something shifts inside you. The weight you have been carrying alone begins to lift. You stop white-knuckling your future and you begin to rest in the hands of the one who holds it. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Number 2. Your purpose becomes clear. When you are in control of your own life, everything can feel scattered and overwhelming. You are chasing multiple directions at once. You are building according to your own understanding. But when you surrender to God, He begins to align your steps with His purpose. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." Surrender clears the fog. It removes the noise of your own striving and allows God's direction to become clear. You stop running in circles and start walking with purpose. Number 3. God begins to move on your behalf. There is something powerful that happens in the spiritual realm when you surrender. When you get out of the way, God steps in. Isaiah 64:4 says God acts on behalf of those who wait for Him. When you are constantly striving, pushing, and forcing, you are essentially telling God you do not need Him. But surrender is the posture that invites God's intervention. It says, "I cannot do this without you." And God responds to that kind of humility. He begins to open doors you could never open. He begins to move people and circumstances in ways you could never arrange. Surrender is not passive. It is the most active spiritual decision you can make because it activates the power of God on your behalf. Number 4. Unhealthy attachments begin to fall away. When you fully surrender to God, you begin to see clearly what you have been holding onto too tightly. Relationships that were never meant to last. Plans that were rooted in fear rather than faith. Habits and patterns that were keeping you stuck. Surrender loosens your grip on all of it. Not because God forces things away from you, but because when your hands are open to God, the things that do not belong in your future naturally begin to release. You stop clinging to what was never yours to hold, and you begin to trust that what God brings is always better than what you were holding onto. Number 5. Your faith grows stronger than you ever thought possible. Surrender and faith are inseparable. You cannot fully surrender without faith, and you cannot build deep faith without surrender. When you surrender to God in a difficult season and watch Him come through, your faith reaches a depth it could never reach in a comfortable season. Every time God proves faithful in the middle of your surrender, you add another layer of unshakable trust. Over time, you become someone who is not easily shaken by difficulty because you have a history with a God who has never once let you down. That history is only built through seasons of surrender. Number 6. You become who God created you to be. This is the most profound thing that happens when you fully surrender. You stop living as a smaller version of yourself, driven by fear, shaped by other people's expectations, limited by your own understanding, and you begin to step into the full identity God placed in you before you were born. Jeremiah 29:11 says God knows the plans He has for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Those plans only become fully accessible when you stop trying to write your own story and let God write it instead. Surrender is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the moment your real life starts. If this message spoke to you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below, "I surrender everything to God." And subscribe for more weekly messages that strengthen your faith and help you walk in everything God has prepared for you. Let go, trust Him, watch what He does.